Miss Burnum, and this is...
I'm Mr. Burnum.
And we are two of the ag teachers at Lincoln County High School, and we're talking to you guys today about your art in the classroom, which we're really excited to have in all of our elementary school programs. Today we're going to be talking about plants, and I think this is the picture you guys are going to be getting the opportunity to color and learn a little bit about plants. And we're in the greenhouse here at Lincoln County High School, and appropriately we're right here beside some tomato plants. So while there's not a tomato on this picture, that is a vegetable as well that you might be studying. So the picture that we have here is showing us potatoes and carrots and beets, and I wonder how many of you guys are eating those vegetables because they are important. We know that plants have a lot of different ways that they grow, and Mr. Burnum's going to talk about some of those different ways.
So some of the plants, like the ones that you see here, they have a green part that we would actually see growing above the ground, but they also have things that grow under the grounds. In this case, these are roots, and these are edible roots, and potatoes make a tuber, which is also edible as well. Some plants aren't just vegetables, we also have flowers. And if you look around the greenhouse, you can see that we've got lots of different flowers growing. Some of them have already started to put blooms on. This is the bloom, or what we call the flower, along with the other green stuff.
You can eat certain types of flowers, even in your salads. Isn't that kind of funny that you can eat a flower?
Don't do it without asking your parents.
Yeah, make sure you always ask. Of course, we always like the plants that we can eat and that are in our yard, like blueberries and blackberries. And oh my goodness, some strawberries are coming up soon. And of course, there's lots of plants like our fruit trees like peaches and apples and all sorts of things as well. So there's all sorts of plants that you can eat, and they grow in lots and lots of different ways. Some of them we just make things look pretty, and that makes us happy. If you want to make your mama happy, you give her a plant. She's very happy about that.
Some other plants, trees are plants. And trees, if you look outside, you'll find lots of different trees around here. Some trees we use for different wood products. Others produce things that we can eat, like pecans and walnuts. Those are also plant products.
So plants do a lot of different things. Probably right now, while you're sitting in your classroom, you're probably using a couple of other plant products every single day. Every day your teacher tells you you need paper and you need pencil, and those are both plant products. So the paper is comes from trees, and they take, most of the time it's pine trees, that they grind up that piece of wood, and they mix it with water, and they press it out with certain techniques in a big factory, and that's where you get your paper from. And of course your pencil is made of wood. The inside is made of graphite, which is not necessarily a plant product, but it is combined with something for you to use. So there's all sorts of different things around you. Most of our world has agriculture in it in some way. So it could be your plants, it could be your house, it could be your clothing. Let's not forget that plants provide us clothing, Mr. Burnum.
They do.
We have cotton, which we grow a lot of here in Lincoln County, that we use to make our shirts and our pants and our favorite blue jeans. We have silkworms. If you didn't know that, they also have silk that are produced, but those silkworms have to live on plants in order to produce those kinds of things. So there's all sorts of things that we get from plants. We hope that you enjoy coloring your picture that you have here, and that you can learn a little bit too about the different plants that are in this picture. And of course, make sure you eat your vegetables.
Hey everybody, it's Miss Jennie, and today we are going to be doing a drawing of plants and what they look like above and below the ground. And the Burnhams did a great job of explaining that to you and letting you look around their greenhouse at some of the plants that the students grow there. Today what we're going to draw is a beet, a carrot, and some potatoes. And I know some of you garden at home with your family, so you know what that looks like, and some of you don't. So it's going to be a great lesson for all of us to see how to draw and color those items. So we have a beet, a carrot, and some potatoes. So you have watched the video that shows a quick sketch of how to draw them, and now I'm going to show you step by step. Please make sure your paper is vertical, which means straight up and down. So the first thing we want to do is draw our horizon line. Remember, that's where the top meets the bottom, where the sky meets the ground. So we're going to find the middle part of our paper, and I want you to sketch your horizon line a little below that. And sometimes I sketch with my marker, sometimes I sketch with my pencil. Just remember, art is not about perfection, especially when you first start out. It should be roughed in, and then an artist will go back at the end and refine everything. If you get caught up on making it all perfect at the beginning, the likelihood of you finishing your picture is not very good. So remember, that's not how an artist works. You've got to be a little loose in the way that you sketch here. So the first thing we're going to do is our carrot. So you should have your horizon line, and you are going to sketch a line on the left that's curved and a line on the right that's curved, and it should come down to a point. So that's going to be the bottom of our carrot. And we want to do some texture lines, and remember, texture is how something feels. So we want to indicate that if we were to pick this up, you'll be able to feel all the ridges and probably some of the little hairs on it. So you want to do some curved lines that are of various lengths. And that is going to make it look like after we get done coloring it, that you can really see all of those little ridges. And then we're going to do the leafy part on top. So I'm going to give you just a second to get caught up. Again, we drew a curved line on the left, a curved line on the right, and then we've got all these different lengths. You can actually put a few little pieces of hair coming off of that. That's going to make it look a little bit more realistic. And this is going to be the root because it grows underneath. All right, now we're going to do the green part of the plant that's on top. So basically, you're just going to do like a curvy line, and then you're going to do another curvy line that comes back down, and we're going to stop shy of the top here. So basically, you're going to repeat that a couple of times. You're doing a curvy line, and then you're going to bring the curvy line back down. So you've got a curvy line, and you're going to bring the curvy line back down. So we've got our carrot. All right, now we're going to do our beet. So again, the root is what is under the ground, and we are going to start with a circle. I'm going to work my way around that shape. Again, you should see lots of lines where you're working that shape out, taking your time sketching it, and then kind of after you get your circle done, we're basically going to draw like a little curved line and then go back up. So that kind of like looks like what a beet would look like. And I'm doing a few little curved lines on the inside here. Again, that's going to help give the illusion that that is actually round. So now I'm going to draw two little thick lines that are going up to the top, and then we're going to draw the plants. So basically the same thing. You're going to draw a curvy line, round it out, and bring the curvy line back down. Draw your curvy line, round it out at the top, bring it back down. So repeat that a couple of times. If you end up with more leaves than I have, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to put a few interior lines on the plant, so that just means lines on the inside. All those little pieces of detail that you can add really add to your picture. So we've got our beet and we've got our carrot, and the last thing that we're going to put is going to be our potatoes. So the ones that we had in our example are kind of perfectly round, and sometimes they are. If you want to elongate yours, you can. So I'm going to elongate mine and make it a little more bumpy. So I'm going to act like I'm taking that circle and stretching it out, making mine look a little bit more like the Mr. Potato Head that y'all have probably played with before. And I'm going to do a few little bumps, maybe a little circle here or there. And to me, that makes it look a little more authentic, so a little more realistic. We know it's good to allow things to go off the paper. So I'm going to do a little line here and make that potato disappear. And now I'm going to draw a little circle, and we know overlapping is important. So when something sits on top of another item, and I'm going to make that circle disappear behind this one. And again, I'm going to do a few curves and maybe some little circles there. All right, I'm going to draw some lines going up. And remember, these are the roots. The roots are just producing what we want to get off of the plant underground instead of on top, like what some flowers, obviously, or all flowers do, they produce on top, right? And the Burnums addressed that when they were discussing all of this. All right, now I'm gonna draw a straight line. I want it to be pretty tall. So I'm gonna draw a straight line. I'm gonna draw a line on the left and a line on the right. And then I'm gonna go back in and kind of thicken those up. And then I'm gonna add little leaves all over it. So again, all we did was we connected our roots here, and then I drew a tall line, and I drew a line on the left and a line on the right. Then I thickened it up. And now I'm just gonna go in and add leaves. So basically I'm doing a curved line and another curved line and a line in the middle. Okay. All right, so that is our drawing. Now what we're gonna do is take a crayon or a Sharpie and outline everything. Now, before you outline your picture, you should be assessing it, which means you should be looking at it and thinking, do I need to change anything? Should I correct anything before I outline? Do I need to erase anything? And if you want to discuss your work with someone, you could ask them for a critique. And critiques are very important in the classroom. It helps you grow as an artist and a person, and it teaches you to discuss your work and to be able to accept criticism. And you're going to have to learn to do that throughout life and any profession that you go into, and it just helps create growth. So critiques are really important. All right, so we're gonna keep outlining here. Remember, don't outline what you don't want. So if you haven't erased everything and you actually accidentally left something, don't outline it. And I kind of came out a little past that line. Hey, that's okay. Art is not about being perfect. It does teach quite a bit of things though. Obviously aesthetics, which means how things look and are aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It teaches you about problem solving. It teaches you about processes. And I always encourage people to have students talk about their work because it helps with public speaking. And sometimes when you are a part of that critique process as a teacher, or even if it's your child, you'll be amazed about the things that you'll learn about them that you didn't know that they'll share. All right, so we've got everything outlined in black. So then what you're gonna do is color everything. Now, I try and use materials that I know are readily available to all of you at home. If you had a watercolor set and you wanted to experiment with watercolor, then that would be fine. But again, I try and use materials that I feel like everybody has access to. So when you're doing your background, even if you're using watercolor, make sure you're mixing your colors. So you can see we've got two different blues in the background. This orange has a deep orange and a light orange. The greens have different greens. The beet has pinks and purples and a little red. And the potatoes have brown and yellow. So make sure that you're mixing everything and taking your time. Now, as far as a follow-up assignment for this, I always think it's great to supplement your learning with different things. So we got to watch the video. That was a great visual, and we got to listen about things. Now we've done our artwork. So what you could do now is get the computer, get mom's phone or iPad, and look up a list of vegetables and pick your favorite one, and then you can look up what its life cycle is and write about it on a sheet of paper in a composition notebook. I have my kids keep a notebook, and we'll date it and write in it every day, whether it's about a famous piece of artwork or we had a critique in class. So writing's very important. So again, look up a list of your favorite vegetables, pick your favorite one, and look up what its life cycle is and write about that. I hope y'all have enjoyed this lesson, and I can't wait to see what your artwork looks like. Y'all have a great day.